Mr. Gianquinto.
My name is Joe Gianquinto, spelled Giaquinto. I live at 5553 Constance Road. My phone number is 783-1821. I'm 30 years old. I think I'm the only person in this room that's probably not on the verge of Social Security, if not already getting it. One of the big things I noticed was the plan to keep the elementary school up and running, which I'd like to start a family at some point, but thank you. But I don't see it surviving. I had a girlfriend with a kid there, and it's a great program, great school, but I don't see any young people around the community. If I go out to a bar at night, I don't see young people. I see a few old people. You go down to Clayton, the town's full of people. Every day during the weekend, there's cars everywhere, there's people walking the streets. You drive through Cape Vincent to get a can of gas or whatever, and the town's like an absolute ghost town. And unless there's going to be jobs, which wind power is one thing, and I see the metalcraft marine thing, I'd love to see that expand. But at the same time, we're talking about not bringing industry in. I mean, we're talking about expanding metalcraft marine to do more industrial work, and yet at the same time, the plan is saying we don't want industrial stuff ruining our scenic town. I mean, it's kind of contradicting itself, because if you want that industry in there, building more boats or whatever they're going to do to add to the industry, then you're going to have to look at it. You're going to have to put up more metal buildings on the waterfront. You're going to have to put up facilities to deal with that. And the same thing goes with the scenic resources, as they're called in the plan. My favorite part about Cape is the waterfront. If I go down to the waterfront, you look over there, and what do you see? Wind turbines on Wolf Island. Look out that window, and there's nothing pretty out there. You see a bunch of trees that are still probably half damaged from the ice storm, and 3 months a year it's green foliage. The rest of the time it's brown scrub brush and nothing to look at. I mean, when I drive down 12E, I don't look that way. I look that way because everyone wants to look at the river. Like I said, if it weren't for the fact that my family had property here and sold me the house that I wanted to live in since I was 10 years old when we first bought property here, I would have never come back. I don't like having to drive 30 miles to my job. There's no good jobs for young people like me in this town, and there's nothing being done to develop these jobs. I mean, there's no reason. I mean, the plan talks about advertising to Fort Drum families. Why would anyone want to drive 50 miles to get to Fort Drum and go to their job on Drum? I mean, Clayton's closer, Alex Bay's closer. They're busier places for young families. There's more going on there. The elementary schools in both those towns aren't on the verge of closing. I mean, even Sackett's is a shorter drive. I mean, there's not much. I mean, Cape is on the back end of nowhere pretty much. You need more to entice people. I mean, ever since I think I moved back here in 2004 after I finished college, and it's been the same topic, saying, well, we need to increase tourism, we need to get this, we need to get that. Beyond French Fest and the occasional classic car show or whatever, I don't see a whole lot going on in this town. I mean, you see a few old-timers doddering in and out of Aubrey's, and I mean, maybe people going to the Roxy. I mean, you can't even get a good meal in the town. You go to Aubrey's, the only way you get good service is if Debbie White's your waitress. Otherwise, you wait around for mediocre food. The Roxy's food is terrible since they reopened. I mean, there's just no reason not to go to Clayton or elsewhere. I mean, nothing. It feels like nothing's really being done to make this town attractive. The one thing I did like about the proposal was the infrastructure as far as broadband goes, getting better phone lines, better fiber optic lines out to the rural places. I mean, that's one thing that could solve the commuting problem. I mean, if I could telecommute to my job because there was good broadband infrastructure, then that would be great. I mean, telecommuting's a big thing now. People coming in who want to live someplace pretty, but have a job elsewhere. I mean, if you have that kind of infrastructure here, then that would be one way of attracting new people. I mean, that's the kind of thing we should be going for. Like I said, I also see a lot of the same anti-wind rhetoric in the plan, which I believe neither side is 100% right. I think there's a compromise to make everybody happy. It seems the pro-wind people are for no restrictions, and that obviously doesn't work. I don't want a tower right in my front yard. I mean, I don't mind looking at them. I don't want to live right under one, obviously. 30 seconds. But with reasonable setbacks, I think our job is to find a compromise, not just dig our heels in and say this is the way it's going to be, screw the rest of you. Like I said, it seems like there's a lot of good ideas, but It's the same good ideas that have been there since 2003 or whenever the last one came out. Nothing's been done about it. I mean, it's all a bunch of talk. I think it's time for the council and government to stand up and actually do something and follow through and not just bring this stuff up to get rid of the project. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.